Welcome, crypto fam, to the #1 daily Bitcoin pod. Major correction, altcoins wreck city. Bitcoin already recovered and back in the green. We tapped the 91,000 low, already back above 98, already recaptured 99 here this morning. Also breaking news, Bitcoin hash rate hits a new all-time high. And as you know, price follows hash. Also, crypto market liquidations likely reach 10 billion, according to the Bybit CEO. Also, crypto ETP weekly inflows fall to 527 million amid the deep Seek panic and Trump tariffs. We'll also be discussing U.S. Bitcoin ETFs can pull in over $50 billion this year in 2025, according to Bitwise. Also, breaking news, Utah could be the first U.S. state to pass the Bitcoin Reserve Bill, according to the Satoshi Action Fund. Let's go, Utah. And quoting the high priest of Bitcoin, Max Keiser, global tariff war equals global currency crisis and economic chaos. Perfect conditions for Bitcoin. 2.2 million in play. We'll also be sharing the latest of the market, everything you need to know regarding the Trump tariffs and how the market's likely to react, what's really going on behind the scenes. All this plus so much more in today's show. Welcome everyone to the live stream. It's a beautiful thing. By the time I'm live, we're so back. Bitcoin's back in the green. A lot of alts have been getting whacked. I saw Trump coin hit like $16 yesterday. I saw XRP was down 34% last night. Ether was down tremendously. Everything. Bitcoin obviously took the least carnage, and the Bitcoin dominance has just been surging since we hit 62%. I believe that's the highest Bitcoin dominance I have seen in roughly 4 years. Correct me if I'm wrong, broskies, but this is what happens when altcoins get out of control. Yeah, I mean, things all return back to the king, their rightful owner, the biddy, and the Bitcoin dominance soars and the alts get wrecked. I mean, like clockwork. If you're new to the channel, very important to smash the likes. Go ahead, subscribe, then hit the bell icon, turn on all notifications to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, 7 days a week, just like this. Today is pod episode number 1895. I'm your host, JV. It's February 3rd, 2025. Markets have been in carnage, all financial markets as of yesterday, but Bitcoin already recovered pretty nicely. We're back in the green. We did recapture 99,000 here this morning, and we're currently just above 98.6, up roughly $500 on the day. Let's kick it off with our market watch as we do each and every day. As you can see on your screen, Bitcoin, one of the only top coins actually in the green. Ether still down 11% on the day. A lot of carnage. It was close to 2,000 last night. Right now, it's just shy of 2,700. XRP recovered nicely. It was down like 33% last night, touching like $1.90. Right now, it's $2.62. Cardano still down 9%. BNB down 7%. Almost everything down, correcting it in the red minus the king. And checking out coinmarketcap.com. Crypto market cap is 3.24 trillion. Bitcoin market cap 1.954 trillion. And we have roughly 382 billion worth of volume for the past 24 hours. That's really high, by the way. It's up almost 200% on the day. And the Bitcoin dominance back on the climb. Currently 60.4%. Ether dominance on the decline at 10.1% as ETH continues to get wrecked against BTC. And checking out top 100 crypto gainers past 24 hours. Ironic enough, Fartcoin leading the pack, stinking up the markets. And then we have Mantle up 16%, followed by Hyperliquid up 15%. Which alts, if any, are you bullish on for the bull? Holla at your boy. And just for the fun of it, let's type in Trump coin and see where it's at. Yesterday, it was super wrecked. Today, it's $18.53. I think the all-time high is somewhere between $70 and $75. So obviously, shitcoin's not faring so well during this correction, but nonetheless. Next up, let's check out the Crypto Greed and Fear Index. Actually, let's not skip over the crypto bubbles just to get a visual perspective. You can see 90% of the market wreck city for the day. Zooming out for the month. very similar, maybe only 5% of the market even in the green, 95% bloodshed. Checking out Crypto Greed and Fear Index today. We're finally back in fear. We haven't been in fear in a very long time. So maybe this means we can continue the pump. All-time highs in play. Price discovery 1093 achieved inauguration day. That was January 20th in the morning before Trump became got sworn in as the president. But anyways, today is a 44 fear. Yesterday is 60. Last week is 71, and last month is 73 in greed. And checking out time chain calendar. We're currently on block number 882,140, and consider this a gift from Satoshi. You can currently receive 1,016 sats per dollar. And ironic, wasn't that exactly what it was yesterday when I recorded the live stream, right? Incredible. But yeah, you can still get over 1,000 sats per dollar. So stack the sats, put down the gas, and pick up some Bitcoin caps from my boy Sergio over at bitcoincaps.net. You can get this identical Bukele camouflage. This is actually my favorite hat, by the way. This is the one I was rocking in Bitcoin Country over in El Salvador. And shout out, Sergio. We appreciate you. Again, number one, Bitcoin Caps, bitcoincaps.net. All right, let's dive into today's astrology for the broskies. What's on everyone's mind right now. We'll look at the live charts as well. This headline reads, Bitcoin bottoms at 91,500 on global trade war fears, highlighting economic concerns. Also like to point out that the Bitcoin hash rate hit a new all-time high. Bitcoin price follows the hash. Current price discovery is 109.3. So let's see how many days it takes for us to recoup price discovery. The Bitcoin price found its local bottom just above 91 Gs. Let me know if you bought the dip. Put a BTFD in that live chat, highlighting its increasing sensitivity to the macroeconomic developments. And it wasn't just crypto, it was all the financial markets, FYI. Bitcoin price fell to an over 3-week low, February 3rd to 91.5, which marked the local bottom before recovering to where we're at right now at 99,000. Nice little recovery. Bitcoin's correction came 2 days after Trump signed the executive order to impose import tariffs on goods from China, Canada, and Mexico. According to the February 1st statement from the White House, the downturn was driven by the escalating investor concerns over a potential global trade war following Trump's tariffs. According to Ryan Lee over at BitGet, he shared here, while Bitcoin has historically been viewed as a hedge against traditional market volatility, its recent performance highlights growing sensitivity to global economic events. The current reaction underscores how geopolitical tensions and policy decisions are increasingly shaping the crypto market dynamics. Canada, Mexico, and China have promised retaliatory measures for the Trump tariffs. I did hear, I think it was Justin Trudeau saying, we're going to oppose these taxes on your beer. We're going to, and he just named like every good there is. And he could have just said, we're opposing tariffs on everything. But I digress. Bitcoin's movement remains in line with the previous analysts' predictions of a local top above 110,000 in January. Send it. Exactly. Price discovery is currently 109.3. And let's see how long it takes before we hit it. Bitcoin remains sensitive to the macroeconomic developments, despite the narrative as a hedge against volatility of traditional financial markets. Still, Bitcoin may still see a rebound compared to the traditional markets, quoting another analyst. While the sell-off reflects a typical risk-off reaction to the macroeconomic shocks, Bitcoin's safe haven reputation still leaves room for the rebound if digital assets increasingly serve as hedges against inflation and currency devaluation. And we already rebounded. We're virtually right back at 100,000. We'll probably be there before the end of the stream. We're currently at around 99. Despite the short-term correction, concerns related to the 36 trillion U.S. debt ceiling, industry watchers remain optimistic about Bitcoin's prospects for the rest of the year. I would assume if you are optimistic about Bitcoin is you understand it and you understand where we're at in the cycle. If you're pessimistic about Bitcoin, you're either a lizard folk working for the lizard folk or you are ignorant and you just don't understand what Bitcoin is, what it represents, and what it does. But anyways, predictions range from 160,000 this year. We've covered predictions to 2.2 million, such as today's prediction from the Bishop of Bitcoin, the one and only High Priest, Max Keiser. So as I shared with you, hash rate hit a new all-time high, continues to soar, which is a beautiful thing. Let's pull up some of the live charts. We'll do some live chart action Jackson for the broskies. Of course, you should be able to see on your screen, this is the daily chart. Let's zoom into the 1 hour. We are back above 99,000 officially. I love it. 1 hour chart. Look at those green candles. Hell of a nice pump back, a nice spring like a coil. You got to respect the bump. And zooming out from the 1 hour and check out the 4 hour. The 4 hour chart says We're going up forever, Laura. We have a $130,000 target, as you can see on your screen, with a big 4-hour green candle form, Godzilla style. Yeah, I mean, let's see if we can get a God candle today, which would be defined as a 10,000 daily move on the chart. But anyways, zooming out for the daily, as you just saw earlier, we do have a rising wedge formation, and we're back in the green. Yesterday, the day before, so the previous 3 days have been red and corrective, but today we're back in the green. Hopefully the bottom is in. In fact, let me know, is the bottom in? Yay or nay? Let me know in the live chart. And checking out, or in the live chat, my bad. And checking out the weekly, you can see we have a 124,000 cup and handle target in play. I believe we hit this sometime in February. February is the greatest month of the year. It may be the shortest, but it's the greatest. Shout out all my Aquarians out there holding it down, including Max and including Paris Hilton, a fellow Bitcoiner. And checking out the 1 month chart, as you can see, after the correction, so far we're forming red, but the month is just beginning. Like I said, it may be the shortest month of the year, but it is the most prolific. And if you don't know, now you know. Okay, next story of the day. Here we are. Let's discuss $10 billion wiped out of the market, according to the Bybit. I don't know if it was the CEO, but one of the guys over at Bybit. Let me go to the correct article here. I just updated that right here. Yeah, crypto market liquidations likely reached 10 billion, according to the Bybit CEO. The recent crypto market correction liquidated up to 10 billion worth of capital, eclipsing previous estimates. According to Bybit CEO, more than 2.2 billion was liquidated for the crypto markets in 24 hours on February 3rd, according to CoinGlass data. But this Bybit CEO said the real figure may be 5 times larger. So let's listen in. Bybit's 24-hour liquidation alone was 2.1 billion. I am afraid that today's real total liquidation is a lot more than 2 billion. By my estimation, it should be at least 8 to 10 billion. And he breaks down why. FYI, Bybit 24-hour, yada. But let me know if you agree or disagree. The multi-billion-dollar crypto liquidation event occurred amid growing macroeconomic concerns over the potential global trade war, days before Trump signed the executive order to impose the import tariffs on goods from China, Canada, and Mexico, which we already touched upon. Crypto liquidation data discrepancy caused by API limitations. The differences in the crypto liquidation figures were likely caused by limitations in the application programming interfaces of the crypto exchanges. This was caused platforms like CoinGlass to report Bybit's liquidation at 333 million instead of the actual 2.1 billion. Interesting. We have API limitation on how many feeds are pushed out per second. From my observation, other exchanges also practice the same limit liquidation data, which ultimately skews the numbers. Moving forward, Bybit will start to push all liquidation data. We believe in transparency. Right on. Over 730,000 traders were caught in the multi-billion-dollar crypto liquidation event. The biggest single liquidation order was recorded on crypto exchange Binance for the ETH Bitcoin trading pair, valued at 25 million. Good Lord, imagine losing like 25 million on a trade. However, some traders made millions from the current crypto market correction. A savvy trader made nearly 16 million on his 50x leverage short position. I mean, there's always going to be a winner, but obviously a majority of the people got wrecked city. But want to know who the big winner always is? Market makers, as well as big government. I'm sure BlackRock and even MicroStrategy are loving the fact it dipped like this because they're always buying virtually every day behind the scenes. You already know. Anyways, next story, family. Let's discuss these exchange traded product inflows. 527 million amid the DeepSeek panic and the Trump tariffs, which have been wrecking the market here. They plummeted 72%. The ETP inflows, which are exchange traded products like the ETFs, the last trading week compared to 1.9 billion of inflows recorded the previous week. Accelerated selling, follow volatile investor sentiment, which CoinShares linked to the market concerns around China's AI platform DeepSeek. And let me know if you guys used that yet, that AI. And global trade war fears triggered by Trump pushing stricter tariffs on imports. According to CoinShares research director Butterfield, DeepSeek triggered 530 million of outflows Jan 27th, XRP is the second best performing altcoin in the ETPs. ETP saw inflows 486 million last week, bringing year-to-date inflows of 4.9 billion. Short Bitcoin products saw the second week of inflows of 3.7 million, down 27% from the previous week. Ether-based ETPs were among the only two altcoin ETPs that saw zero inflows last week, alongside Litecoin. And in 2025 thus far, ETH ETPs have seen 177 million of inflows. On the other hand, XRP investment products continue gathering steam with 14.5 million in weekly inflows. According to CoinShares, XRP is now the second best performing altcoin for the ETPs, with year-to-date inflows of 105 million. Crypto ETP investors were more active in selling crypto investment products by Grayscale Investments and Bitwise last week. Grayscale saw 298 million of outflows for the week, expanding the previous week. Outflows 124 million, by 140%. Following weeks of selling, Grayscale crypto investment products have so far recorded 690 million of outflows. Year to date, I mean, what else is new since they converted their GBTC product from a trust into a ETF? Has been just outflows. Ultimately, they went from like having virtually between 500,000 Bitcoin, and they just been on the decline ever since. And it seems BlackRock's buying it all up, and they switched places, and now BlackRock's the largest holder of the Bitcoin. Bitwise's crypto ETF were also bleeding last week, seeing 126 million of outflows, surging more than 560% from the previous week. And Jim Cramer effect tethered to listings in the EU added to the volatility. In addition to the market fears associated with the Trump tariffs and the deep-sea concerns, the crypto market saw a few more developments that might have contributed to the slower inflows last week. Former hedge fund manager, the one and only notorious Jim Cramer, called for owning Bitcoin on CNBC's Mad Money, urging against investments in MicroStrategy, which is the largest corporate holder of the Bitcoin. Quoting Cramer, "You should own Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a great thing to have in your portfolio." Oh no, inverse Cramer like clockwork every single time. Crazy how that works, isn't it? Headline reads, U.S. Bitcoin ETFs can pull in over 50 billion this year in 2025, according to Bitwise. That's right. U.S. spot ETFs have nearly 5 billion worth of inflows over January, which could put them on track to see over 50 billion of inflows this year, which is a 10x. Matt Hoogan, according to the Bitwise guy, the chief investment officer there. So far, so good. Spot Bitcoin ETFs pulled in almost 5 billion in January, which annualizes to 59 billion, he said. In a post for context, in all of 2024, they brought in 35 billion, so it would achieve 15 billion greater than the previous year of the ETFs when they actually first went live, which was January 11th, the spot Bitcoin ETFs in the United States. He added that there is significant month-to-month volatility in the flows, but said that the BIT ETFs could end the year north of 50 billion. Maybe it'll be way higher. Who really knows? In December, Hoogan and Bitwise's head of research predicted the Bitcoin ETF inflows in 2025 were surpassed those in 2024. The pair said the funds ended 2024 with 33 billion of inflows, while analysts at the same time of their launch in January 2024 expected them to only bring in 15 billion. And here's the infamous tweet from February 2nd, which I believe is yesterday. It's worth noting there's significant month-to-month volatility in flows. Still, I think we end the year north of 50 billion, and it just shows you each month the inflows. Now, BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Trust iBit saw the highest net inflows over January, which is to continue to be expected. They're the largest asset manager in the world, pulling in a total of 3.2 billion, followed by Fidelity Wise Origin Bitcoin Fund, which had a net inflow of 1.3 billion over the same period. Bitwise's fund had the fifth largest net inflow over January with 11 ETFs, taking in over 125 million, and then GBTC, or their mini trusts, which took in roughly 400 million. And Hoogan and the other guys' December report, the pair said 2025 will be a larger Bitcoin ETF inflow as institutional investors will want to double down and raise the amount they allocate to the funds. I think that's even conservative. It could be a lot higher, in my humble opinion, but what do I know? The duo added that the ETF's first year is typically the slowest, noting that the gold ETFs had 2.6 billion of flows during their inaugural year of 2004. Literally 21 years ago, which more than doubled to 5 billion over 2005. Well, there you go. Now, they also said the world's largest wirehouses have yet to unleash their army of wealth managers who have mostly been denied access to the Bitcoin ETFs, and predicted that 2 would change this year, exposing the funds to potentially trillions of dollars. Let's discuss Utah adoption. The headline here reads, Utah could be the first U.S. state to pass Bitcoin reserve bill, according to the Satoshi Action Fund. And then we'll dive into Max Keiser's 2.2 million price prediction. I also have a bonus for you as well. Utah could be the first U.S. state to establish a Bitcoin reserve due to the shorter legislative window calendar and political momentum. There is a very good shot that Utah will be the first because they only have 45 days to decide. According to Satoshi Action Fund CEO Dennis Porter, who shared in an interview recently with U.S. Senator Cynthia Lummis, it's either sink or swim in 45 days. No one else has a faster calendar and no one else has more political momentum and willpower to get her did. One of Utah's House committees on Jan 28th voted 8-1 in favor of a bill that would allow the state to invest a portion of public funds into Bitcoin and other cryptos with a market cap of above $500 billion and approved stablecoins. My question is, how many cryptos are actually above a $500 billion market cap? Not many. And as you can see here, these are the 15 states which are currently in the process of adopting Bitcoin and where they're at as far as progress. And you can see Arizona and Utah have come the furthest. Currently, House Senate approval is awaiting. The majority of them have got the committee approval, and all of them have got the bill introduced. If they're listed here, that includes Alabama, Arizona, Florida, Illinois, Kentucky, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, South Dakota, Texas, Utah, and Wyoming. Every single bill that has been passed by the Utah House Economic Development Committee over the last several years was ultimately passed into law. Quoting Porter here, we firmly believe that Utah will be the very first state to introduce this legislation. Let's go Mormon country. Anyways, let me know if you think they will be first. Arizona is the only other state that has passed this stage in the bill life cycle, while Illinois, Ohio, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, North Dakota, Oklahoma, Pennsylvania, Texas, Wyoming have introduced bills to establish a Bitcoin reserve. State officials in Alabama, Florida, Kentucky, and South Dakota have publicly endorsed a Bitcoin reserve, but no bill has been introduced to those states yet. We'll get on it. In a January 21st interview, Lummis noted that progress is being made on the Bitcoin Reserve bill she introduced at the federal level, noting that it would need at least 60 votes to receive bipartisan support in the Senate. Quoting her here, we're having good success. We are not there yet, but we're having good success. I repeat, we're having good success. Are we there yet? Every kid's favorite quote from any family trip, right? Are we there yet? The Lummis bill wants the U.S. to obtain 1 million Bitcoin, or 5% of the Bitcoin total supply, over the next 5 years, which would be roughly 200,000 Bitcoin being acquired by the United States government over the course of the next 5 years. The U.S. could repurpose the 198,000 Bitcoin obtained from asset seizures, while the remaining 801,000 Bitcoin could be financed to emergency support functions, selling a portion of its 455 billion gold reserves for Bitcoin, or a combination of both. Asset manager Van Eck estimated that the U.S. can reduce its national debt by 35% by 2049. Should Bitcoin's price rise at a compounded annual growth rate of 25% while the U.S. national debt increases to 5% CAGR? And if you don't know, now you know, crypto bros. And there you have it. Now for our feature story of the day. Here's the latest from Max Keiser regarding the global tariff war and his 2.2 million Bitty price prediction. You should be able to see here on your screen. He made a tweet at 3:26 a.m. today. Global tariff war equals global currency crisis and economic chaos. Perfect conditions for Bitcoin. $2.2 million in play. And this got close to 90,000 views, 3,000 hearts, and 335 reposts. Shout out to the Bishop Bitcoin, Max Keiser, and some other recent tweets. Reminder, MicroStrategy converts volatility into greater Bitcoin yields for shareholders. And this, in turn, creates a floor for Bitcoin price. This is not true for any other coin. And he's referencing the infamous Forbes cover of Saylor with the headline, The Bitcoin Alchemist, Why Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy is a Brilliant Blueprint for the Manipulating Traditional Finance to Harness the Pixie Dust of Cryptomania. And in other recent tweets, victory! Bitcoin 2.2 million still in play. This was posted last night. Watching ETH burn to the ground is glorious. ADA Solana XRP going to zero against the Bitty. And in other tweets, quoting Max, President Bukele has ramped up daily Bitcoin buys with an interim goal of acquiring 20,000 more Bitcoin. Bitcoin Country currently has over 6,000 Bitcoin on the balance sheet, and they're not slowing down as the FUD leads you to believe. they're actually speeding up and buying more Bitcoin. And also news here, Bitcoin Office to launch the Artificial Intelligence Education Program. As you know, they have the Bitcoin Educational Program. Well, now they're adding AI to it, which is actually pretty phenomenal. So they're going to be ahead of the curve. Obviously, Bitcoin and AI play a big role in the future, I would say. And also, as a bonus, I wanted to read you some of this. The latest from Arthur Hayes Just Blaze. He says weak dollar and money printing and other massive changes will bring Bitcoin to $1 million per coin. So let's break this one down. Quoting him here, in China, they need to do almost the same thing, a little bit different. They need to pump up their property market, get the plebs investing in stocks again, get them confident again, get inflation up. They need to print the yuan as well. Japan needs to sell a bunch of shit and repatriate yen, and the U.S. doesn't want them to sell their stuff, so the U.S. is going to give them money, so they don't sell anything. Europe wants to decarbonize and then shut off all their energy from Russia and shut off products from China and continue having the biggest welfare state in the world, so they need to print money as well. So everybody needs to do the same things to fulfill their goals. And according to Hayes Just Blaze, President Trump's and the Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent has been very clear about their intentions to weaken the dollar and increase credit creation in an attempt to stoke the growth. Hayes, the CIO of investment firm Maelstrom, says such changes in the global financial landscape will push assets, including Bitcoin, to unimaginable levels. Quoting him here, here's the prediction. These are the massive changes in the economics of the world that will bring crypto, the only free market left in the world, to an extent gold, to fiat price levels that are unimaginable. That's how we get to 1 million Bitcoin. 250,000 is a stop along the way. It is the realignment of the chessboard, and everybody on the board is going to print money to help themselves out. Let me know if you agree or disagree with Just Blaze, Arthur Hayes, and to watch this interview he did with Scott Melker called Bitcoin to Skyrocket. Check the show notes below the video in the description, and he called it Bitcoin to skyrocket, but first crash. And what did we just experience last night? Pretty massive crash. Wasn't so bad for Bitcoin compared to the rest of the market, but we did hit 91,500. But you guys, let me know your thoughts surrounding Max Keiser's 2.2 million Bitcoin price projection off the back of the global tariff war, aka the global hash wars, which he coined many years back. Holla at your boy, and welcome everyone to the Q&A segment of the live stream. Nipinator Indicator live and in the flesh. All-time highs in play. Price discovery. Like clockwork, there we have it. As Bitcoin continues to do what it does best, pretty little bitty going up. 99.5. I got 99 problems. Bitcoin ain't one. Hit me. Nipinator Indicator. Come on now. Less than 500 away from recapturing 100K. Max Keiser says 2.2 million in play. My personal prediction for this cycle peak for this year, I think we can do 1.1 million bull scenario. My base case is 420,000 and my bear scenario is 222. And shout out Bring Facts on that 222. Ironic with all the twos and 2.2 million. Trudeau, his name, also what his boyfriend said last night.